Friday, January 28th, 1944. Dear Kitty, I asked myself this morning whether you don't sometimes feel rather like a cow who has had to chew over all the old pieces of news again and again and who finally yawns loudly and silently wishes that Annie would occasionally dig up something new. Alas, I know it's dull for you, but try to put yourself in my place and imagine how sick I am of the old cows who keep having to be pulled over to the ditch again. If the conversation at meals times isn't over politics or a delicious meal, then Mummy or Mrs. Van Daan trot out one of the old stories of their youth, which we've heard so many times before, or Dussel twaddles on about his wife's extensive wardrobe, beautiful race horses, leaking rowboat boys who can swim at the age of 4, muscular pains, and nervous patience. What it all boils down to is this, that if one of the 8 of us opens his mouth, the other 7 can finish the story for him. We all know the point of every joke from the start, and the storyteller alone in the laughing of his witticisms. The various milkmen, grocers, and butchers of the 2 ex-housewives have already grown beards in our minds so often that they have been praised to the skies or pulled to pieces. It is impossible for anything in the conversation here to be fresh or new. Still, all this would be bearable if the grown-ups didn't have their little way of telling the stories, for which the Coopahans, Hank, or Moip oblige the company, 10 times over and adding their own little frills and furbelows, so that I often have to pinch my arm under the table to prevent myself from putting them right. Little children such as Anne must never, under any circumstances, know better than the grown-ups, however many blunders they make, and to whatever extent they allow their imaginations to run away with them. One favorite subject of Koopahuids and Heineck is that the people in hiding and in the underground movement. They know very well that anything to do with other people in hiding interests us tremendously, and how deeply can we sympathize with the sufferings of people who got taken away and rejoice with the liberated prisoner. We are quite as used to the idea of going into hiding, or underground, as in bygone days one was used to Daddy's bedroom slippers warming in front of the fire. There are a great number of organizations such as the Free Netherlands which forge identity cards, supply money to people underground, find hiding places for people, and work for young men in hiding, and it is amazing how much noble, unselfish work these people are doing, risking their own lives to help and save others. Our helpers are a very good example. They have pulled us through up till now, and we hope that we will bring us safely to dry land. Otherwise, they will have to share the same fate as the many others who are being searched for. Never have we heard one word of the burden which we certainly must be to them. Never has one of them complained of the trouble we give. They all come upstairs every day, talk to the men about business and politics, to the women about food and wartime difficulties, and about newspapers and books with the children. They put on the brightest possible faces, bring flowers and presents for birthdays and bank holidays, are always ready to help and do all they can. That is something we must never forget. Although others may show heroism in the war against the Germans, our helpers display heroism in their cheerfulness and affection. The wildest tales are going around, but still they are usually founded on fact. For instance, Kupahani has told us this week that in Jarfeld 2 football 11s met, and one side had consisted solely of members of the underground, and the other was made up of members of the police. New ration books are being handed out in Hilversum, in order that the many people in hiding may also draw rations. The officials have given instructions to those of them in the district to come to a certain time, so that they can collect their documents from a separate little table. Still, they have to be careful that such imprudent tricks do not reach the ears of the Germans. That was from the Diary of Anne Frank. It seems like the people in Holland are really helping out each other, and they're towards the end of the war, so it makes it even harder to know that she didn't make it out alive.